Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're going to look at something that might seem, well, incredibly small at first glance, but it actually opens up this fascinating window into the natural world and really the massive scale of human agriculture. Today, our focus is grounded in a beautifully personal, highly relatable garden journal entry. This was published on May 24th, 2026, by a dedicated home gardener named Ang. And get this, it's part 904 of Ang's Notes on Gardening, which honestly tells you everything you need to know about the level of dedication we're dealing with here. We're going to explore the journey of a single, humble plant. And by the end of this explainer, you are going to look at that sesame seed bun on your burger in a completely different light. Just look at these tiny black seeds. I want you to really take a moment and just step right into the dirt of Ang's garden with that quote. It's such an intimate, triumphant moment, right? You can almost feel the warm soil and the water dripping off the leaves during a daily watering routine. Because you see, this isn't about industrial yields or maximized profit margins. This is the pure, unfiltered celebration of a gardener holding the literal fruits of their labor right in the palm of their hand. It's a tiny harvest, sure, but man, it is a massive personal triumph. Section 1, the first sesame harvest. Now, Ang actually noted the yield from this harvest wasn't exactly plentiful, but honestly, that totally doesn't matter. The true significance here is the beautiful microachievement of the harvest itself. Which brings us to Section 2, completing the life cycle. This right here is the biology of patience. Anne sowed these sesamum-indicum seeds some moons ago, carefully guiding these plants through an entire complete biological milestone. And this perfectly illustrates the exact chronological journey that Ang witnessed. Sowed, bloomed, developed pods, produced seeds. It looks so incredibly simple when you lay it out in 4 tidy steps like that, doesn't it? But each one of those steps represents a major hurdle the plant had to overcome, aided, of course, by Ang's daily watering and care. From the very moment those seeds were placed in the earth, to the moment the flowers bloomed, to the swelling of the pods, right down to the day Ang was just out there doing the watering and managed to pull off this very first harvest. It's a complete, closed loop of life happening right there in the backyard. So, once you've fully grasped the intimate, slow reality of a home garden, you're perfectly primed for a pretty dramatic shift in scale. We're moving on to Section 3, the commercial farming mystery. The absolute crucial point here is this number 10. From Ang's close observations, each one of those hard-won sesame pods holds only about 10 seeds. Just 10. So I want you to do the math in your head for a second. Think about a standard little glass spice jar of sesame seeds sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now. Think about how many thousands of seeds are packed into that one tiny container. If one pod yields 10 seeds, well, the sheer volume of pods required just to fill that single jar is completely mind-boggling. Which naturally leads to Ang's exact wonderment. How in the world do commercial farms collect such massive quantities? When you realize the painstaking labor and the completely minuscule yield of a single pod, collecting a full pack of thousands of sesame seeds seems like an impossibly daunting task. It injects this incredible sense of awe into something so wildly ordinary. We just sprinkle these tiny black seeds on our bagels and our stir-fries without even a second thought, completely blind to the bewildering, massive scale of cultivation and collection required to make that simple act possible. Okay, let's bring the narrative back down to the grounding reality of the soil with Section 4, ready for next season. Because despite that totally daunting math, Ang isn't discouraged at all and is actually completely prepared to start the process all over again by reseeding. Right now, Ang's attention is mainly rooted in 2 specific plants, the sesame, or sesamum-indicum, and basil. And these aren't just some one-off experiment either. Ang has been faithfully planting them season after season. It's a rhythm, a dedicated practice of cultivation that happens year in and year out, absolutely regardless of how small the actual harvest might be. So why do it? Why put in all this patient, low-yield work? Well, Ang sums it up perfectly right here. Mostly just for the fun of it. There is this incredibly wholesome, completely relatable absurdity to this, isn't there? It's not about feeding the neighborhood or, starting some massive commercial spice empire. It is purely for the profound, quiet joy of cultivation. The simple satisfaction of observing nature, of participating in the growth of a living thing, and finding absolute delight in those tiny black seeds. It's such a wonderful reminder that not everything we do needs to be hyper-optimized for maximum output. Sometimes the process itself is the entire point. As Aang signs off, noting that it's been great progress so far and expressing all this excitement to see the next round of germination, we are left with this final thought: the cyclical reward of planting, season after season. It's a rhythm of hope, patience, and observation. So, taking a page out of Aang's journal today, whether it's an actual literal seed in the dirt, a brand new project, or maybe even a new skill, what will you germinate next? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.